Unexpected offseason already. We're just hours into it. We already saw Jared Goff, Matt Stafford. As our colleague Adam Schefter, who's going to join us a little bit later this morning, said it could be an unprecedented movement at the quarterback carousel. And Mike will be here to take us through the entire offseason. Promises to be an offseason unlike any other after a season unlike any other. Mike, appreciate the perspective this morning.
Just remember, Mike, that wasn't me.
It was our producers, Mike.
It was our producers.
Noted. Duly noted.
In Mike's defense, he did get to 2 straight AFC Championship games.
Oh, don't
now you're going to try to come on. Yeah.
No, Evan. No, you can't do that.
Never got over the hump.
Oh, jeez.
We're not here to hang conference championship banners. We're here to hang Super Bowl champions.
I seen somebody recently hung like a championship banner, but it was like a divisional banner.
That is so weak. A divisional banner.
No, I know what it was.
Hey,
that wasn't it. It was Tom Brady on his social media went after the Colts or something. They hung like a divisional banner or something.
They did.
Yeah, and he was like, oh God.
Yes, it was an old school one.
Deflategate year.
Yep.
Yeah, the Deflategate year.
Hanging out years. Speaking of deflating, all right, Adam Schefter is going to join us this morning. Says Carson Wentz and the Eagles are as good as done. It's just a matter of when. A deflating end to an unbelievable start. I want to talk about this here for the next few minutes because obviously Goff and Stafford has happened. We're waiting for Deshaun, although it's important to note that the Texans this weekend, all reporting, saying at this point, don't even call. He's not available. That's another story for another day, and we'll certainly get to it. I want you guys to listen to this. I dug this out the other day, and this is why you never know, as Key says in the NFL, okay? Always remember this. The Eagles surrendered 5 picks. 5 picks for the right to move up to the 2 spot to select either Jared Goff or Carson Wentz.
Give it to me because this is interesting.
Now listen to this. This is Executive Vice President of Football Operations, Howie Roseman, right after, fellas, the 5 picks were surrendered. They gave up a haul to get to 2, right? I want you to listen to this. I'm not going to kill Howie. I'm going to qualify this, but this is very important. Quote, this is 2016. Remember 2016 draft. When we went and researched and saw what the quarterback classes are going to look like going forward next year, 2 years out, that's a daunting proposition. Okay, let's stop there. The next year, Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes were drafted, right? So you think you know, but you never know. So Howie said we moved up because I was looking over the horizon at the next year and the following year, and I just didn't see anything. Now,
I could stop you right there.
Go ahead.
That's bad general managing to start with. You're looking 2 years down the line. You cannot predict 2 years down the line what some college kid is going to do. Just think about Joe Burrow. 2 years ago, prior to him being drafted as number 1 overall pick, where did you have him?
Day 2.
So there you go.
To number
But
1
even
overall.
if you do, Key, you don't say that.
No, you can't.
Like, even if you think that, you don't say that because you don't know.
But you can't. You're right, Jay, but there's no way in hell possible some guy can tell you what a player who's a freshman is going to look like as a junior. There's no way of knowing.
And fellas, let me just quickly qualify, because like I said, there's another part to this statement, but the first part was said. Like, we got to trade up, because I'm looking over the horizon and I don't see much. He did follow up. Now, quote, now, a lot of things changed.
Really?
There's no question. What we see now is probably not what we see a year from now or 2 years from now, but it's also going to look back at the history of the last 15 years. What he basically said is if you have the opportunity to go up and grab somebody, history says you better go do it because you don't know the next time you'll be in a position, because you don't want to be drafting again in the top 10. But it's just a cautionary tale, Key, that once Carson Wentz is traded, that the number 1 and number 2 overall picks in the 2015 and 2016 draft will all have traded teams. Think about it, right? Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, the latter of whom could be on his 3rd team very soon. But think about that. Number 1, number 2 overall picks, all QBs, and sooner or later, soon as Wentz gets moved, they'll all be gone.
When you miss on a quarterback or you miss on anybody high in the draft like that, it could potentially set your franchise back for years to come. The Buccaneers, they got as much as they could out of Jameis Winston. They couldn't get any more. Mm-hmm. But what they were able to do is go get a guy who was available in Tom Brady who knew how to win. Mm-hmm. So it didn't necessarily set their franchise back. 2 years from now, they're going to have to find another quarterback to replace, because it certainly wouldn't be Blaine Gabbert, but they're going to have to find somebody to replace Tom Brady. If Jameis Winston was there, they'd have him for another 10 years at quarterback. if he was doing what they needed him to do. You look at the Houston Texans moving away from Deshaun Watson potentially could set the franchise back for so many years to come because you anticipate he was going to be there for the next 12 years. That's why you gave him the big money. Now you've got to go and find a guy out there that you think you can have underneath that center for the next 12 years. It's hard to do.
It just feels like Howie Roseman is disoriented, very much like the weekend last night in that whole maze scene. I had no idea what was going on. I was spinning around, and that's what's happening to Howie Roseman right now, Key. That's how I feel.
And fellas, think about this. How many years ago? Look, when they won the Super Bowl like 3 years ago, whatever it was, 3 full seasons ago. I mean, think about this. They were the envy of the league. Howie Roseman was picking players
Philly special.
left and right.
Yeah.
Philly special. We can make it work with Wentz. We can make it work with Foles. But we got to give Wentz job back because he earned it. And Foles just quietly stayed as the backup. It was harmonious, Jay. And now they're the most dysfunctional team in the NFL.
I mean, this whole thing is like recycling. Now they're talking about trading with the Bears and getting Nick Foles back. I mean, this is like the Knicks getting Derrick Rose back. What is going on?
Didn't happen.
What is going on?
But this goes to my point about the Kansas City Chiefs. Or chefs in that commercial, either one. You look at what happened to Philadelphia. Not that Kansas City is in the same place as terms of dysfunctional organizations as Philadelphia, but Philadelphia hadn't gotten back. Philadelphia quarterback is on the move. Patrick Mahomes isn't going anywhere, but it's just hard to keep that consistency the way the New England Patriots did it for years. And everybody points to New England and Tom Brady and think that that is just like something that you can just go to a vending machine and dial up what you want and it's going to fall out. Hey, I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm on a Super Bowl. Boom. That doesn't work like that.
They're the outlier. If it was so easy, why hasn't even a second team sniffed it, right? A second team. There's 32 of them.
It's very difficult. So many things have to align. I thought we were going to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, back to back to back. I figured we getting ready to run. We're going to walk away from this thing with 3 rings.
Bucks didn't get back till yesterday.
Bucks didn't get back till yesterday.
Think about that.
Guys, I know we're erring on the side of how difficult it is, but at the same time, they have been to back-to-back Super Bowls, right? I mean, there were people saying last year, well, it's like, hey, look, it's difficult for them to get back. They have the talent to do so if they're able to keep things intact.
And the Buffalo Bills went to 4 straight. Just saying.
You can never underestimate the impact of what a loss could do to an organization, mentally, physically, the psyche, it's all there. No matter what, whether you win or lose, you never come back as that same team. So it's unreasonable to expect that you could have the same result. You never come back the same. On the way, Brady will go down in history as a Super Bowl MVP, but a couple of compelling cases, that award could have gone somewhere else. That's next.